stop thinking you're going to be scammed. If you think you're going to be scammed, you'll be scammed. Hi, I'm Kate Padget-Koh. I've worked in the fashion and sportswear industry for 30 years with such brands and businesses as Li & Fung, PVH, PUMA, and startups like SQUATWOLF. I'm really excited to be here to share my knowledge and experience on supply chain and sourcing. They don't want to work with you. It's simple. If they wanted to work with you, they would answer you. Be honest and open. I can place 50 units. I can grow in the future. I will pay in advance. I will treat you as a partner. Expect to pay more than if you were going to order higher quantities. But be very committed, communicate really well, and treat your factory partner with the utmost respect. It depends on the size of the order. Samples always will cost more. Materials have MOQs. Colors have minimum color quantities. When you make smaller quantities, you can buy from stock fabric and make them from that. However, if you buy from stock fabric, you cannot always necessarily guarantee the quality of the materials. Secondly, when you make sample lots, you need to use your sample room where the efficiency is lower. Only when you get to larger quantities does your efficiency increase. You have to train your workers on that product that particular time, and then you've got to change it again. Samples are expensive for factories to make unless they are a really small workshop, and that's what they focus on. Plus, there will be usually some leftovers of materials, etc. I've worked with a number of startups and navigated this successfully. The key part of it is to select very good suppliers that you want to work with over the long term. Look at the product they are currently making and does it fulfill what you want to fulfill? Would you be happy to sell the products they're currently making in your store or website? How do you feel about the people that you're working with? As much as you want to discipline the factory, you also need to discipline yourself. You need to stick to the calendar. Be disciplined around payments, around comments, around order placement, and communicate all the time very clearly. This is a partnership which will be so critical in the success of you and your brand. It could be a scam, but it clearly has no integrity. They don't want to pay the fees to Alibaba. You would never have found that factory unless they were on Alibaba. At least work with them for a contracted time, whether it's 1 or 2 seasons. Then if anything actually happens, you are secure enough through that platform. If you are going on Alibaba, remember that those suppliers are on there because they need business. Not every supplier who is on there to take advantage of their potential customers. They also want a sustainable business. However, especially in the beginning of a brand, you always need to be duplicating your sourcing so that you can compare and contrast the answers you are getting. Then you have some clarity on actually what is really going on. You can also get some expert advice in simple terms. I have quite a lot of material already written around this, so previous newsletters, and actually we have one linked here for how to navigate these challenging questions and how to secure your future and the future of your brand. What is your priority? As a designer, do you need to work directly with the factory? If you need to work directly with the factory, you just need to ask that question. A lot of people on Alibaba may well be an agent or some kind of representative. That isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you really want to work directly with the factory, you will have to develop the relationship much deeper, and often that requires visiting or something like that. These are really funny questions because it sounds a bit paranoid. Stop thinking you're going to be scammed. If you think you're going to be scammed, you'll be scammed. I don't really think that taking that approach is the healthiest. Generally, people in China are honest. I've come across people who just expect that they're going to be lied to, or they're going to be ripped off because the price is too high, or the quality is going to be bad. Really look 3 steps, 5 steps ahead as to what could potentially go wrong, and face that and communicate that with the people that you're working with, instead of leaving it and waiting to see what goes wrong. Really be a few steps ahead. I have plenty of information on this available for free. Such a funny question. Who told you that this was a way to get a better price? Just negotiate the price. Ask for the price you want. If you want to bring a gift, great. It doesn't necessarily mean you'll get a better price. If they think you're going to use that tactic to reduce the price has already been hiked up in the beginning. Just ask for the price you want, be reasonable. The critical part is when you start a brand, you want to have product in good quality that you can sell. A business plan, knowing how you're going to grow, putting some realistic projections, telling them the story of the future of your brand, what the vision is, how they can be a part of it. They would much rather have that kind of vision of the future so they know where they're going to than a bottle of whiskey, for sure. When you go to a factory for the first time, whoever is the representative, make sure they actually work there. It could be they're representing this factory and not actually an employee. Secondly, are they really producing in this factory? Are you really going to have your product produced in this factory? Check the sample room, check certifications, check any of the documentation certifications, those type of things which are required in the country you'll be selling in. Make sure you walk every part of that factory, especially production lines, to see how workers are behaving. Check the public areas like washrooms, canteens. You don't have to check in great detail, just have a look. It says a lot about how they're treating their staff and how those people are. And get a look at the mood of the people. You know, are they playing basketball at lunchtime? Do they have a creche? Do people look relatively happy with what they're doing? These are the soft skills that really are valuable. One of the key areas to look at is the materials warehouse. It speaks volumes. You will see how they are storing their materials, how much is left over, how organized they are. Also look at the housekeeping. So is the floor clean? Are things swept up? How does the inside of the factory look? They shouldn't be messy. Any of these really speaks volumes. And again, I have some amazing material available with a lot more information around this. You've heard a bit about my experiences today. To learn more, I have a free resource linked below, and you can follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram.